Hello, 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 SA. Welcome to DrD.com. I am Dr. D and I'm going to be your doctor for today. Well, today we have an exciting, action-packed, fun-filled episode for you because I've actually gone out to source alternative forms of exercise to make sure that you remain fit and fab. Well, this is the part I have been waiting for. I'm so excited. We're here, we're about to try it out. I just can't wait. I think without further ado, Shtaba, please let us know what this is about.
Okay, the first move here I want to talk about is the kettlebell swing. And most of the kettlebell moves are around two primary movement patterns, which is a hinge and a squat. Okay, and I'll just show you the difference in a minute. Okay, so this is the kettlebell swing, and this is how we set ourselves up. Okay, and you'll notice that I load and then I move.
That's intense.
Okay.
That was intense.
Right. So all the force is generated from the floor up. Okay.
And I see there's a lot of engagement in terms of your glutes,
Right.
in terms of your core.
So the movement pattern called the hinge essentially loads the entire posterior chain. And the posterior chain are all the muscles from the base of the neck to the back of the knees. Okay. And we load it when we throw it between the legs into the hinge, and then we finish the contraction by the extension.
My glutes.
Okay.
Will I be able to sit tomorrow? Can I try? Can I try?
Please, give me 3 of these.
Okay, cool. So
here we go.
Position, everything right?
Position's great. Flat back,
Flat
eyes
back.
ahead.
Okay,
nice. Here we go. Nice. Inside and accelerate. There we go. And boom. Boom. All right. One more. That's all.
There you go.
Here we go.
And the breathing though.
Right.
Explain a little bit about that. Like, what do I inhale when I'm going down? Do I exhale?
Right.
Like, how does...
Okay, so that's a great question. Okay, that's a really good question. When you load the chain, you inhale. And then as you explode, you exhale. Okay, and the reason it's important to have it in that sequence is that when you explode, you are exerting some tension.
Okay.
So the air that you would have sucked in creates a nice little ball, and then your muscles are able to wrap around that ball.
Okay, so inhale,
exhale, 100%. Right. Nice. Nice. Very nice. There we go.
There you go. Not too bad. And everything else, my shoulders, my
everything
back.
is perfect. So flat back, just like the setup, like I said. So as soon as you touch the kettlebell, you make sure that your back is flat, that your shoulders are down, and that you're nicely grounded. Okay. If you don't know how wide to stand, just jump up off the floor, and how you land is the place that you need to do it.
The other thing is I don't run the risk of the kettlebell pulling me forward.
Right.
Is that correct?
Right.
So
the kettlebell is always going to want to pull you apart. Right. So all you have to do is to maintain the tension through the body. And so what happens is that the kettlebell forces this. The only way you're going to be able to move it is if you've got some tension going on. So if you keep your shoulders down, everything kind of stays as compact as possible.
So shoulders down.
Right. There we go. Inside and 2 and 3. Nicely done.
Okay.
Nicely done.
Yay!
Okay.
High five.
All right. So the second one, movement pattern, is the squat.
Okay, before we move on to the second one, I wanted to find out what are the common errors that people can make when they're doing that move, just to prevent injury and stuff like that.
Right. Okay, so common mistakes that most people do firstly is when training with the kettlebell, because the kettlebell is in the hands, they make the mistake of thinking that the kettlebell is actually being moved with the hands.
Okay.
And so what happens is that because we are generating force from the floor up, once you load the posterior chain by throwing the bell inside, you simply stand up tall by connecting all the muscles once again, okay? And the arms simply act as hooks for the kettlebell itself. Okay, I see a lot of people in the gyms raising the kettlebell with their arms, and that kind of defeats the purpose because it's a full body.
Oh, okay. So the important thing is to engage the muscles.
Engage the muscles, use your legs, use your posterior chain, and everything else is really just a passenger on this ride.
It's good for knee injuries and ankle injuries.
Let me tell you, the kettlebell swing in particular is one of those exercises they actually say heals the body. Because there isn't any direct
impact
like
on
any one joint.
Which is the problem I have, because I'm a really good back joint, you know. So with running and stuff, the impact is not great for my joints. I like the fact that I'm stationary, and it's just you know, that flexibility that I'm engaging as opposed to.
You also bring up one other point. Because a lot of people don't have enough authentic mastery in kettlebell training, a lot of people have had bad experiences with kettlebells. And because the focal point is in the hinge area, in the pelvic area, a lot of people have had really lousy experiences with lower back pain. And so you can get injured pretty badly if you don't know what you're doing.
That's why we get the SFG
100%.
guys, right?
Right.
Okay. So the next move, please come show me.
So the next movement pattern is a squat. Okay. The exercise is called a goblet squat. Okay, and you can actually even turn it around and hold it like so, if you like. Okay, and all this does is that it grounds the center of gravity and almost connects it to your own. Okay, so I've got my pelvis forward, and then I push the pelvis back, and I simply sit in that area, and I push from the top.
It's a very
there.
deep squat, hey?
Well, my squat's pretty deep. I've been doing a few squats.
I don't think I can come back after now. I
I've been
won't
doing
be
quite
able
a
to
few
come back
squats.
up.
Okay, so here are a few pointers here. Okay, now you start off with your hip forward, right? And you simply push the hip back, but you make sure that you keep your shoulders as square as you can.
Okay.
So you notice that this is possible, and that's not what you want. You want a situation where you use the bell to help you keep that vertical line happening. And at any point, if the bell starts to tip over, you know that that is as high as you can go, and that's where you need to stop.
Hey, here is, this is going to be a test, right?
Right.
Let's see how deep I can go.
See how deep.
The moment of shame.
Nice. So hip starts forward,
Okay.
knees locked. Nice. And then you go back. Boom. Nicely done. Give me 3. Nicely done. 2. And 1. Very nice. Very nice, right?
Not bad.
High five.
Not too bad.
Okay.
Great.
All right. So the squat is one of those exercises everybody knows about as something that's really beneficial, really effective, really efficient. And the whole thing about this type of training is that we want to be in the gym for as little time as possible.
That's true.
So we can be out there living our best lives, you know. So the squat again recruits a bunch of muscles, and more muscular recruitment simply means more calories burnt and more muscles built, right? So that's a bunch of stuff that we want to do. The challenge with the squat is that it's also a little bit of a technical movement.
It is indeed.
It can be challenging, but what's nice about this exercise you're about to do, or that you just did actually, is that the exercise has a way of making sure you're doing the right thing.
Okay.
All right. So if you start to make a mistake,
Yeah.
there is
As
a
you
way.
mentioned, if you start falling
100%.
forward, etc.
If you start to tip forward, then you know that that's where you need to end, and that's okay.
And what's this whole thing about like your knees being in alignment with your toes and don't go too over, etc.?
Okay, so when performing the squat, your knees must never fall over the toes.
Okay.
Right, or any kind of descending motion. All right. As soon as you start going over the toes, it's a weak place for the knees. So the way we do it is that when you're holding the kettlebell in the goblet squat, this is actually called the people's squat, because almost anybody can do it. Right. As
Especially if
opposed
you've got
to-
a weight. It's more difficult going down when you
Right.
don't have a weight.
when you
because
don't
it kind
have
of
a weight.
balances you.
It gives you a nice
Definitely.
grounding in the center of gravity, and the feedback from the weight also keeps you in alignment
Exactly.
with whatever's
Exactly.
going on. Okay, so as you descend, as soon as you start to tip forward, then you know that that's as far as you go. And a lot of people, also don't understand that some of these things are skills that you have to get good at.
Exactly.
So you don't start out
And that's
being
the reason
good.
why these are the basics. I mean, there's a
100%.
lot more that we're going to be building on,
Right.
or adding rather, to be building
Right.
on these two basic
to
movements,
the
right?
movement patterns. Yeah.
Well, that brings us to the end of today's episode, guys. Was that not fun? Well, I'm really excited about what's to come. Well, if you liked today's episode, please comment on the comment box below. Be sure to check out our website and social media pages. Up until next time, remain fit and fab.